Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to get better at the older Call of Duty Zombies games. Now what I mean by older Call of Duty games is World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the 2-hit down system before they implemented the 3-hit down in BO3. So if you're wondering the right way to navigate this and be able to set up properly and even get to high rounds, or maybe do an Easter egg with your friends. Regardless, this video is going to help you get better at the game, and maybe we'll teach you a thing or two about how to actually improve yourself without needing external help. So this guide is going to go over various things such as maximizing points, prioritizing your life over anything else, and even training in case you don't know how to do that. But yeah, enough said, let's get straight into the video. Now before we actually get into the game, one thing I think is going to be really important for you guys to get used to. I know some of you might struggle with this, but I promise you it is very important and it helps a lot if you plan on getting to those high rounds and just getting good in general. If you want to get good at the game, this is something that's going to help you a lot. So you want to, if you can, I know that, you know, if you're playing on console or something like this, you might not be able to, but go to your settings, go to game, and then in FOV, field of view, you're going to want to just change that to 120. 120 is honestly the best field of view that you can run in any of the games. If you don't have an option for field of view in your settings though, what you can also do is this command called CG_FOV space 120, and that will give you 120 field of view as well. You could basically do this, you know, to set it back to normal, or you can do it to set it to whatever field of view you want. But I'm going to say this is very important if you plan on getting better at the game. Alright, so number one thing that you want to focus on in these older games is keeping your distance. You want to make sure to keep your distance from these zombies. These guys are violent and they will kill you in 2 hits. So you want to stay away from these guys. Don't get too close to them. Number 2, I would like to point out is maximize your points. A lot of people will not talk about this. You know, you'll go straight up to an Olympia, buy it, and then shoot them in the head. That is not good for points. Don't do that. Instead, with your 1911, shoot them 8 times in the leg and then stab. One other thing I'd like to mention with maximizing points is on round 2, you can shoot them twice in the leg and then stab them with the M14. And if you still want to keep maximizing your points on round 3, 3 shots to the leg with the M14 and then stab. Number 3. With number 3, always prioritize your life above all else. Don't focus on maximizing points if it's going to cost you your life. Now I got lucky with that max ammo, but generally you're going to run out of ammo and you'll still have a zombie. Just knife the last zombie and then go ahead and buy yourself the M14. Now number 4, we're going to quickly go over what the power-ups and perks do in case you don't know how the power-ups and perks work. If you know how they do work and you feel like you understand the perks pretty well, feel free to skip this one. If you don't, I'm going to quickly go over these with you. So first off, I'm actually going to recommend that at the start of your game you buy Quick Revive, because this is going to be really useful. If you don't know what Quick Revive does, it revives you when you go down in solo. So if you happen to go down, feel free to make sure you have a Quick Revive, and that way you could just revive yourself and get right back up. If you are playing in co-op, this doesn't revive you. All it does is help you revive teammates faster. So just remember that. Now Juggernog is really what we want to be getting right now. That's one of the things we want to prioritize getting as soon as we enter a game, is getting Juggernog. And what Juggernog does is it gives you more health. So instead of being a 2-hit down, you get hit twice and that's game. Instead, what Juggernog does is it takes you up to about a 5-hit down, I believe. I think in BO3 it's like a 7-hit down or something. Or maybe that's like perma-perk in BO2. I don't remember exactly. But either way, the point that I'm trying to make is Juggernog is really good if you intend to stay alive, because it basically just gives you so much more health. So always prioritize getting Juggernog above all else. We also have Double Tap and Speed Cola. Double Tap makes your gun shoot faster, which is useful in some cases, but can also be difficult to use and can actually hurt you in some cases. So just keep that in mind. Speed Cola is always a good choice. It helps you reload faster and even interact with boards and some other stuff goes faster. So it's pretty useful. I would definitely get Speed Cola if you can. If you're playing on one of the later maps, we also have Stamina Up, which basically gives you more stamina so you can run longer and I believe run faster. I'm not entirely sure about that though. And then PhD Flopper is one of the best perks you can get. It basically, when you dive from a distance, so like if you dive flat onto the ground, it's not going to do anything, but if you dive from a distance like that, you're going to do an explosion around where you flop, hence the PhD Flopper. It'll cause an explosion where you flop, and it also negates self-inflicted damage. So explosives and fall damage, you will not take any of that if you have PhD Flopper. Now some perks I would say avoid entirely if you're playing from World at War to BO2. For example, in World at War, just don't get Quick Revive in World at War because it doesn't do anything. And honestly, you could probably go without Double Tap as well, but I mean, you can get it if you want to. It's really not a big deal. Only get Quick Revive in World at War if you're playing with a friend. In Black Ops 1, just don't get Mule Kick or Deadshot Daiquiri. The only case that I see Mule Kick being worth getting is if you happen to lose all of your Quick Revives and you have no Quick Revive, you can't use it anymore, it's completely used up. In that case, I suppose it's fine to use Mule Kick unless, you know, you're playing on a map with better perks. Then maybe don't. But if you're playing like Kino and you run out of Quick Revives, I'd say it's completely fine for you to get Mule Kick. But yeah, Deadshot Daiquiri off the table, just don't get it. Black Ops 2 Tombstone is really only useful if you're playing in co-op and on town survival. Other than that, it's kind of a useless perk. I would say avoid Who's Who when you're playing Black Ops 2 as well, just because it's kind of a crappy perk. I would just avoid it if I were you. Vulture's Aid is fine though. If you happen to get Vulture Aid, I'd say that's honestly a solid perk to use. It's pretty good. I forgot to mention this, but Black Ops 2 also has Electric Cherry. That's a good perk to have in Mob of the Dead. Anyway, enough of the perks. Let's move on to the power-ups. So I don't have any power-ups here to demonstrate, but I'll basically go over what the power-ups do. So when you get a nuke, it kills all the zombies that are spawned or spawning in. It kills a certain amount of zombies, and for the lower rounds, it could straight up end the round. However, if you can avoid getting it, and if you feel confident that you could kill more zombies and get more points without picking up a nuke, then feel free to not get the nuke and just maximize your points. If you feel like you're in a tough situation and you're about to die, pick up the nuke. Just like I said, always prioritize your life above all else. Double points does what you expect. All damage that you deal, the points is doubled. So for example, if I shoot this zombie in the leg, that does 10 points. If I have double points, it'll give me 20 points. Same thing with building a barrier. That normally gives me 10 points. But if I have double points, it'll give me 20 points. Carpenter rebuilds all the barriers. Honestly, kind of a useless one. Unless it's early rounds and you're really looking for those points, then it's fine. It gives you about 200 points, I believe. Insta-kill is pretty simple. It basically makes every zombie an instant death. It brings all the zombies down to 1 health. So when you stab a zombie, they basically instantly die, hence insta-kill. So whenever you get an insta-kill, make sure that you stab the zombies for maximizing points. If you can't and you feel like you're gonna die if you try doing it, again, just kill the zombies with your gun. They'll die super easily. You just shred them down. It's insta-kill round, really easy. Yeah, I think I forgot to mention this earlier, but a max ammo basically just gives you max ammo in your guns. I think I completely forgot to mention that, but remember to reload before picking up a max ammo, because it only refills your stockpile, it doesn't refill your magazine. And the last one is Fire Sale. Now, a Fire Sale only appears once the box has moved once, so once you get a teddy bear out of the mystery box. So occasionally, the Fire Sale power-up will spawn when you kill a zombie after the mystery box moves. And one other thing I forgot to mention is when you get a Fire Sale power-up, it'll also make it so every single mystery box location is active. So you could go to any mystery box location and the box will be at every single one. And on top of it, it'll only cost 10 points. Now, it doesn't last very long, but if you can somehow manage to stack fire sales, which is really rare unless you're playing Black Ops 3, if you could stack fire sales, then it lasts even longer, but it's kind of hard to happen, but it's just a good thing to note. It's a good power-up to have, but if you can avoid having it in your drop, that would just be good for high rounds. But anyway, that's enough of perks and power-ups. Let's move on to the next thing, which is going to be... So, map specifics, for example, on Kino der Toten, you do not want to buy your path this way. When you're first opening the map, you want to go through that door, because if you go through this way, you're going to end up opening the stage door, which is like the forbidden door. You do not want to open that door. So the main thing with map specifics is it's just something you kind of have to learn. Like if you want to get Pack-a-Punch on Kino, you interact with the teleporter in the main room, interact with this pad, and then go back to the teleporter and you could teleport to Pack-a-Punch. But see, that's completely different on Ascension. So, like I said, just learn the map, learn how it works, and then once you understand how the maps work, then you can implement a lot of these different things that I'm teaching you. Alright, now number 6. Prioritize getting power as soon as possible. Getting power is very important in this game. So I don't really have enough points, but I can go ahead and just buy my way there best I can. So yeah, just really focus on getting power right now. Just get some kills with your M14, buy the doors, do whatever you can to get power open, because we need to get Jug as soon as possible. Alright, now I know it's tempting, but don't buy the mystery box if you see it. I want to make this very clear to you. Make sure that you buy a wall weapon that's actually going to really help you. But now we got power on, yay. Now we can move on to number 7, which is... Getting Jug is very important, and this is like one of the most important things you want to do. This is Juggernog right here. Say hi to your best friend. 2,500 points, and you get more health. Really useful. Make sure you get that as soon as possible. Alright, now that we can get Juggernog, I think now is going to be an important time to talk about training. Now, in case you haven't already bought another gun by now, while you're training the zombies, you're going to want to be focusing on getting a better gun. Now, I know it's tempting to hit the mystery box at this point, but don't hit the mystery box. Instead, get a good wall weapon like the MP40. And in this case, this is the gun I'm going to be getting. Now, you can also do the AK-74U. You could do the M16, which I wouldn't personally recommend. You could even do the MP5K. I mean, I wouldn't do that either, but again, up to you. MP5K is really just a good point weapon. It's not good for like killing zombies. But above all else, I would say MP40 is a very solid choice for a Pack-a-Punch. But yeah, just remember to train the zombies. It's a little hard to learn at first, but what I'll say is I like to relate it to a game of Snake. If you've ever played Snake before, you know how it goes, right? You eat the apple and then your tail grows longer and you have to try not to crash into yourself. Well, think of that while you're training the zombies. The longer you train, the zombies are going to keep growing and there's going to keep coming from all sorts of directions. So you kind of just want to go in a circle. But like I said, your tail's going to get too long so you don't want to crash into yourself. So expand your circle or find a gap you could fit through and then run through that. Training takes a lot of precision and basically quick choice making, and you need to be confident with the choices you make. If you see a gap you don't think you can make through, don't take that risk. If you see a gap that you can make it through, try your best to make it. Make sure you run sprint. Really learn how training works. This is a very learny process. Training isn't something you're just going to get right away. So make sure that you learn this. Make sure you practice, and eventually you'll get it. So yeah, remember, like I said, training is kind of like a game of Snake. As you go, your trail keeps getting longer, and zombies will come from all sorts of different directions. So you kind of just really want to learn how to do this. Really just get them all in a circle. Really just get the train going best you know how. It's a very learning process. Do not forget that. So don't feel discouraged if you're struggling to train. So number 9, Pack-a-Punch a good weapon. Make sure it's a reliable and good weapon that will do very good for you. The MP40 is a really good choice. My top 2 picks for Kino der Toten would be the MP40 and the AK-74U. If you can pack-a-punch one of those 2 guns, it's gonna do you great favors. Alright, now, number 10, get more perks. Once you've got a good pack-a-punched weapon and you're pretty well set up in your game, I would recommend that you try and get more perks. It's just a really good idea to have better perks. In Kino der Toten specifically, I would recommend having Quick Revive and Juggernog, Speed Cola, and Double Tap. Those are going to be my recommendations for Kino. Now, depending on the map you're playing, this is going to change, but I mean, like Ascension, for example, Quick Revive, Juggernog are exactly the same. Those are perks you're basically always going to want to have, but instead of Speed Cola and Double Tap, I would trade that out for PhD Flopper and Stamina. Anyway, taking a quick step back to map specifics, remember how I said not to open this door on Kino? Well, you can, just only a certain amount. I said don't go the entire path this way. So you just want to open 1, 2, and 3 doors at the most. This is the very last door you want to buy, because over there is the door that leads to the stage, and you really want to avoid buying that if you can. It just ruins the train on the stage. Alright, now that we have all of the perks and basically everything we need for a good game. Now, before we go on to number 11, I want to quickly make sure that you guys have a good secondary, because your main weapon with Pack Punch is going to run out of ammo decently quick. So just make sure that you have a good secondary like the MP5K, which can be bought on the wall right there. So for hitting the mystery box, you want to make sure that you have 1 or 2 zombies left. I left 2 just because I think this guy's about to die, but I'd rather not train a Nova Crawler. So anyway, you want to see where your mystery box is. If you aren't in Kino, you can just look up into the sky, but for this we have a board that tells us exactly where the mystery box is located. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade out my secondary gun for whatever I get at the mystery box, and they'll just keep trading it until I get a wonder weapon. I would be careful though, because my main gun is running out of ammo. So now that I got a commando, I'm gonna say that's actually better than the MP40. So when you find a gun that you believe is better than the MP40, even if it's not pack-a-punched, feel free to trade out your MP40. MP40 is just not good with ammo, so that's why I like the commando more. Oh, we finally got it. Okay, we finally got the ray gun. Oh my gosh, that took so long. So one of the things that I wanted to point out about using the wonder weapon is once you finally are done with number 11 and you get yourself a ray gun, you hit the mystery box, you got yourself the ray gun or thunder gun, whatever, you then need to learn how to use the wonder weapon, and that can be kind of a process. So one thing to keep in mind is with the thunder gun, all you have to do with the thunder gun is you have to hoard them up, and then as you saw at the beginning of the video, you just hoard them up, and then once you have them in a decently big blob or straight line, you just shoot them. But with the ray gun, what you want to do is you just want to shoot the floor, because the ray gun, for some reason, it deals more splash damage than actual damage. For some, I don't know, I can't really explain to you why, but when you shoot a zombie head on, it'll do some damage, a decent good amount of damage, but when you shoot the floor, it does so much more damage, and I have no idea why. So I kind of want to demonstrate to you the best way to actually use the ray gun when you're playing these games. Also, don't feel too bad if you don't get the ray gun after a while. I mean, look at me. It literally took me 23 rounds to get the ray gun. I mean, it took me quite a while to actually get this gun. So don't feel discouraged if you're really struggling to get it. I mean, it's a process, right? I ended up losing all my quick revives. That's how long it took for me to get this stupid gun. But see, you kind of just want to hoard all the zombies up, kind of similar to how I'm doing. Train however is easiest for you. If you have an easier way of training, do that. But you kind of just want to hoard them all up, and then you just shoot the ground around them. That's the best way that you want to use the ray gun. But anyway, just kind of practice using the wonder weapon. kind of get the hang of it until, you know, you'll eventually know what you have to do after some time has passed, and after you've used it enough, you'll kind of get the idea of what to do. So anyway, hopefully this video's helped you and you kind of know what to do now to set up and get higher rounds and to just get better at the game. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope this guide has helped you guys. And if you need help with a certain map and you're not quite understanding how to play this game or how to set up and do high rounds on a certain map, let me know and I will teach you guys how to do a good setup for certain maps if you really need help with that. Leave a comment below if there's some other kind of video you'd like a guide on something specific, and I will make a video. Considering that I know basically almost everything there is to know about COD Zombies, I can really help you guys out with that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye guys.